I thank the chair lady for yielding, and I thank all the panelists for your testimony today. It's a very busy last week here in Congress, and I thank you for all your hard work, all of you. In the past 2 years, it's shown that the census is vulnerable to political manipulation when the citizenship question was added. In fact, our nation was one vote on the Supreme Court away from erasing an estimated 8 million people, professionals said, from the formulas we use to determine who represents us and who governs us and how we distribute over $700 billion in federal funds yearly. And we really cannot allow our country to be in that position again where really the accuracy of the census is questioned. So my first question is about a bill that I authored called the Census Idea Act, which would prevent arbitrary and capricious harmful questions from being added at the last minute, really over the objection of the professionals at the Census Bureau and many others. And the way you would prevent that is require by law, basically the administrative code as it exists now, and require in law testing periods for each question, additional reporting to Congress on that testing, and certification by the GAO that tests were adequate before forms can be printed. And this bill, in my opinion, would allow the country to be protected from what Judge Furman called in the one of the decisions, capricious and arbitrary addition of questions to the census. Basically to have the formula, actually it's the formula that's in the administrative code, but the Census Bureau decided not to follow the administrative code. So I would like to present this question to all of you in writing and with the bill and give you a chance to see the bill. And particularly GAO, I'd like your responses to it on whether you think it would prevent capricious and arbitrary tampering with the census in the future so that it is well thought out, approved, done in the proper procedures. And I think it's important that we not only make sure that everyone's counted, but that we prevent any type of behavior that undermines the accuracy of the census. But now, moving forward, and would all of you respond in writing to this question and to viewing it? I'd appreciate it. Okay, thank you. Now, I really want to talk about the neighborhood partnership specialist, and I understand that that is critical. We have the Census Bureau up and running in New York now, and the director there says that these partnerships are very important, and that we need to have them fully operational partnerships, that they're essential to the 2020 census. And I'd like to really ask, first of all, Mr. Dillingham, do you think these partnerships are important? And are you, the Bureau's goal was to have 1,500 partnership specialists on board by the end of June. And I'd like to know, did we meet that deadline? Maybe I'd ask Mr. Goldenkopf, since you wrote about it. And how far behind is the Bureau? And then I'd like to hear from Mr. Dillingham whether we can move forward quickly to get this in place.
Sure. Well, thank you. That's an excellent question. As you know, partnership specialists are so important in terms of convincing people, particularly populations that are traditionally undercounted, to participate in the census. They're the so-called trusted voices. The Census Bureau had planned to hire around 1,500 partnership specialists by the end of June of this year. They fell short of that goal. As of July 8th, they had only 813 partnership specialists hired, and they hope now to reach that full complement of 1,500 by September. So already the Census Bureau is 2 months behind on this important effort.
So, Mr. Dillingham, as I understand it, the delay in hiring is caused by massive backlog and background checks, and the Bureau is about to embark on a massive hiring effort where it will seek to hire roughly 15,000 workers for area census offices and non-response follow-up. And if the Bureau can't handle the 1,500 background checks, how in the world is it going to handle 15,000, which I understand is your goal?
Congresswoman, I certainly appreciate it, and I certainly agree with your observation on how important the partnership specialists are. And as a matter of fact, when I met in your office in New York City, we had partnership specialists with us, and I addressed the whole region's partnership specialists in a phone call from the van while we were outside your office. We appreciate, and I also noticed, besides this partnership specialist, we shared with you the information where you had the longest list of the members of Congress whose districts we had in terms of your partners, and we commend you on that. But on the partnership specialists, we have made more than 1,600 offers. Majority are on board, but we're waiting for a few that, and as pointed out, we're going to be on track, on time. So within 30 days, they'll all be boarded. We should have. We envisioned 1,501, but in fact, we've made offers to more than 1,600. In addition to that, as I mentioned with the Appropriations Committee, we presented an option that Congress, for Congress to consider, that we could, in fact, besides the 1,500, which doubled from the last decennial census, we could have up to 5,000 assistants that would assist the partnership specialists, and that would be from continuing on our assistant recruiters who have already gone through the hiring process and have the computers, and they could be dispatched to assist the partnership specialists. So there is a mammoth effort being made in devotion of resources to this topic. And in our hiring, we are presently hiring, as you're well aware, the address canvassers, and we have
But my question is, not the 1,500, you're going to move forward on that, but you're supposed to hire another 15,000 non-response follow-up workers, and if you're having trouble hiring the 1,500, how are you going to hire the 15,000 with the background?
I appreciate your concern, but we haven't reached the stage yet for the non-response follow-up. That will be in our peak hiring, and we'll be advertising later. But right now, we have over a 500,000 applicants in our system. More than 600,000 have gone to our website and begun the process to apply for jobs. And we're hiring currently 40,000 out of that 500,000. So at this point in time, we were very pleasantly surprised at the job pool that was out there.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
May you give me 2 seconds more, 3 seconds more?
Okay, one final question.
For our GAO question, Mr. Dillingham, will you commit to providing a detailed plan to GAO and to this committee on how you will improve the background check process and stay on schedule? We want you to stay on schedule, and I'm sure you're going to do it, but let us know how you're going to do it.
Congresswoman,
okay?
we certainly will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
for your
very
support.
much.
And may I thank the chairman for being a visionary on the census and in so many other
I appreciate that.